Now entering the Bitcoin Podcast Network.
Yeah. Welcome to the Bitcoin Podcast. We in outshine. Bitcoins, we got them. Acquire, never sell. But catch us rolling deep like Adele. Bitcoin, blockchains, cryptocurrencies. Three guys faded talking Bitcoin, no fee. Best of free Bitcoin podcast, insane. And adoption is still the only thing that matters, man.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bitcoin Podcast, flagship show of the Bitcoin Podcast Network, and I am your first host, Cello.
And I'm host number 2, D.
And I'm host number 3, Dr. Corey Petty. What's up?
Back for another one, guys. Back at it.
It's another one.
3 of us.
I realized we never did a DEFCON4 part 2.
No, we didn't. We could just make this. We could just make this that.
No, we can't.
Why not?
We've got to do a DEFCON
do the fuck you want.
recap. I know, but we said DEFCON part 1.
This could be DEFCON part 2 / interview.
Yeah. All right. What'd you do after we left? We left. Me and D left halfway through.
Yeah. Y'all were bitch made and left.
Was it my fault? It's Chel's fault.
All your kids and family needs.
Yeah,
Trying to get to your kids for Halloween and all that. It's bitch made.
Yeah, I was like hounding your wife to find me a piggy bank. That's how bitch made I am.
And I'm a generous friend. I was like, you know what?
Yeah, why did you go home, D? I feel like that was dumb.
Because Cello asked me, he didn't want to fly alone across the world.
Is that true, Cello?
I didn't word it like that, but I think D was picking up on my lies.
I didn't word it like that, but that's what you said. You were like,
I don't want to fly alone. Help. No, I didn't say it like that, but it would have been nice to have some company on a 9-hour flight.
I don't feel safe.
Sound like a damsel in distress. My bad. I don't feel safe, and I need you to ride. No, that was pretty much it. Like, I think it would suck if I was traveling for 20 hours in a day, and or 20 hours straight, and there was nobody traveling with me, and it was just like me having to recharge my headphones and shit. Like, I don't know. So I was like, well, I'll come back with it.
It's DEFCON, man. It's just so much stuff's going on. Like, okay,
yeah.
So
this is the Catalina wine mix, bro. You don't just fucking leave halfway through the Catalina wine mix.
There's so many people to meet. There's so much going on. You can't absorb it all. Like, I'm probably gonna spend the next couple of weeks just watching DEFCON videos whenever I get my hands on them.
Yeah.
But so like the first day y'all left, I actually only went for half the day. I have to try to remember what I did because it's all kind of brain mush. But I actually got to walk around Prague a bit and do all the stuff y'all were doing while I was like balls deep into like status stuff.
Yeah.
So I saw the castle, walked over the bridge, Aaron did some shopping.
Nice.
It was like a beautiful day out there. It's a really cool city. It's like I don't know. I was walking through like that old town and then to the bridge as you walk. Did y'all end up doing that?
I think D went to Charles Bridge. Is that what you're talking about? I didn't go to Charles Bridge.
Yep, I did go to Charles Bridge.
It's really, really cool if there weren't millions of people there.
I was there at like 4 a.m.
Oh, okay, that's a very different experience than what I had.
It was really dark and gloomy. It was like Sleepy Hollow looking. I literally got scared and was like, Lucian, I'd rather turn back because this is pretty eerie out here.
My dogs are fighting.
So,
I will say, why aren't there just bodies splattered all over the streets the way people drive, and like nobody gets hit? Nobody, like, when someone makes a sharp left turn, they come millimeters from hitting somebody, and no one flinches, no one blinks.
I felt like a lot of people should be dying a lot more often there.
Oh, totally.
Just by getting hit by cars.
Well, I think that's the thing is that maybe they were dead and we were seeing spirits walk around.
Yeah, that's the clear explanation. But back to DEFCON. I don't know, man. It's probably my favorite event to go to every year, just because of the who all is there, and like the way like everyone's kind of open to learning. But it's too big. If it grows any more next year, it's going to be too big.
Well, they could always have it in multiple places, like like the Super Conference did, where they had the main building A, and then the spillover was like in building B.
Maybe, but I don't think they need to do much like announcements. Like some of the talks are more like almost like announcements. I think they should just do like it should just be a whole thing of workshops, because most of the attention that the people who are there, or the value you get out of going to something like that, is going and doing the workshops where you can learn from the people to teach you how to do stuff, and you can ask questions there. Because otherwise, it's no different than watching a video and clapping. All right,
that's true.
You do that anywhere.
What if they sold tickets per day, and each day had a different what do you call it?
If you're gonna fly across the world to go to something, then you should get more out of it than a single day.
That's true.
I think it's just I personally feel it should just be all workshops and get-togethers, because the majority of the value, in my opinion, is the people that are there and meeting up with people and like having real time like with them. And it was the same thing for Status, right? We're a decentralized company, and you can get a lot more done if you have everyone in one place, and you can talk and get like hash out some of the things that you haven't been able to do so like over VoIP or Skype or whatever.
True.
But then I emceed the last day on one of the main rooms that talked about mostly like scalability and things like that. A bunch of like nerdy hashing stuff, which I really enjoyed.
So what did you like and what did you not like?
I liked everything, man. What I don't like is that it's too big and I can't absorb it all. Like you could literally not go to anything that they actually do, and just hang out outside of the rooms and talk to people and get a tremendous amount of value going to DEFCON. And people do that. That's what a lot of people do that.
That seems like a waste of money.
No, because there's no other thing. There's not a lot of things that happen throughout the year where you get this many, of the people who are building things, like the leaders of large projects, all in the same place, who are pushing the technology forward, all in the same place. And so you could like the collaboration and like figuring out what the state of the art is and where things are going happens there. Hold on, my dogs are still playing right in the back.
Yeah, you got to do something about they are doing jiu-jitsu in the background.
Yeah, they're just doing dog jitsu like right next to my desk, like having a grand old time.
They're going for it.
Anyway, I yelled at them.
I mean, I can understand that, and especially being a developer, you'd want to be hanging out with like-minded developers. It'll spark your creative juices. Maybe you've been working on a problem. You got a problem you've been trying to solve for like 3 weeks. Boss is on your ass, and you're like, damn, I can't get it done right now. And then you go out to DEFCON, you talk with your homie that you usually only talk to on Slack from around the world. And then boom, he sparks your creative juices and you solve the problem. You go back into work. Everybody loves you again. I get that. That's a very specific scenario, but that could have happened.
It could have happened.
Yeah. And so,
I mean, I'm going to go every year, but I hope it does. One night. So that same night that we spent walking around Prague. So we went to the castle. And I had texted, or I tweeted Taylor and Kevin from my crypto about, hey guys, you want to grab some dinner? They're like, hey, we can't out. We're doing like a family dinner tonight. How about tomorrow? And so that was the night that I walked around Prague. And so as we was leaving the castle, I got some Twitter notifications, and like Kevin's like, hey, can you come to this? And it was this a DApp Awards ceremony, which was like a kind of like an exclusive invite only event that they were going to be a part of this. And I was like, oh man, I don't think I can make it, because we were having a beer at a bar next to the castle. I had no idea where they were, and it was a 5-minute walk from where our bar was. I was like, oh shit. I might be able to make that. And so we ended up going, and I was like, I don't have a ticket to this. And Kevin and Taylor were like, oh, don't worry about it. You're with us. And they literally just like, hey, he's with us. And me and Aaron walked into this thing. So that was awesome.
Nice.
And it was in the like a music museum of Prague. And it was like a really cool venue. It was put on by a company called Mainframe, which I could think also supports as one of the like funders of my crypto. But they did a really good job in terms of like setting it up and having like a nice quality, like a 3-course meal event where they, had panels and talks and things like that. I didn't agree with some of the content of it or like the questions and conclusions of it, but and then like they had awards for various types of things. I don't have the card with me right now, but it was like, most influential, most useful, best media source, best mainstream media source. We weren't even listed, but we're not mainstream, so it's like CNBC and Forbes and shit.
And
was
then, there a best side stream media source? And they were like,
no, I don't think so.
Mention. Oh.
I don't think so. But
we need an award, right? I think that would make it worthwhile. What we
award-winning, the award-winning podcast network.
Yeah, we want to win an award.
What if we just make one up? Because I feel like that's what they did. It was the first inaugural like award ceremony, which eventually could be a big thing. It was really well put on. I saw Vinay Gupta there, Alex Van Zandt. I talked with Eric Voorhees for a while. Like it was like they brought the who's who into this thing. And
wow.
But it was like the awards were like, it felt like they just said, this guy showed up, so he gets the award kind of situation because no one really knew about it.
Crypto's getting a big head about itself.
But the best part about this whole thing, I mean, the food was great, people were great, wine was great, whatever. They played this commercial that was fucking hilarious. Like very well done.
Thing?
Yeah, the lemonade thing.
Yeah.
So that's where they like revealed it, and they did a fantastic job like making fun of ourselves and how crappy everything works and the user experience and where we are and how kind of ridiculous it is.
Yeah. It doesn't make much sense.
Then afterwards, we went and had some beers with Taylor and Kevin.
Dude, so much beer.
It's all the same beer. It's all the exact it's the Prague beer. You can have the dark Prague beer or the light Prague beer, and that's it.
It is and it isn't. Like certain different places have better light beer.
But you go into every place though and you just say beer.
They're like, okay, bring it to you. Unless you say like I want a Guinness or I want a, I don't even think they had Bud Light or anything like that, or like, you know what I mean? They don't have like what they would consider imports, like American shitty lagers. It's all the same beer. You're just like, I want a beer. And they're like, okay, I'll bring you the beer in the same weird,
I did have a Corona at a bar, and he was like, "Excuse me," and I was like, "Yeah, you can wipe the dust off that bottle and serve it to me."
You have a lime? It's like, what's a lime?
Yeah, I've been eating schnitzel my whole life because I'm German, and the best schnitzel I've ever ate was that week.
Was it at that place we went with like Reem and Kevin?
No, that was top 10. But the best was the food tour that we went on with your wife that you unfortunately missed.
Yeah, talk about that because I was pretty jealous about y'all going on. We went to all those places that y'all went to afterwards for like a real meal. Yeah. But food tour sounded pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff that I thought was going to be nasty. Like they give you fried cheese, and it ended up being like everything was like top 10 best things I ever ate.
Yeah, that fried cheese thing was amazeballs.
It was so good, and then everything is accompanying a beer. So if you had fried cheese, just in your mind, a pint followed that. All right, then we had like soup, another pint. We had like pork, some hand cut noodles that they make right then and there. A lot of desserts. We went to a butcher and got to see like all the meats. Me and Dee were the only one that kept it real, and we were like, tartar is gross. It's not cooked. You can have that back. And everybody else was pretending like it was amazing. It's not. But everything else was great. Like they had meatloaf and they put mustard and a pickle on it, and you think it's disgusting. Nope, best thing I ever ate in my life. So it was very weird, but it worked out.
How about that restaurant, the local restaurant that was called Local? Like if you went in there, you'd be like, this place is garbage. It's like a Subway. And it like the story behind it makes you really appreciate it, right? If someone who walked in there unknowing the story would be like, I don't want to eat here. This food already sucks. But it was like so back was like 10 to 15 years ago, all restaurants and cafeterias were called restaurant and cafeteria and served the exact same food for the exact same price across the entire country until they got rid of that socialist thing.
Yeah, and Italian food wasn't even introduced until 2010. And so it was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, so that place was one of those restaurants.
Yeah. I could tell too.
But they revamped the menu entirely into like really, really great food, but like it still looks like kind of a dump.
Yeah, Dee and I went to this pizza place and we ordered one pizza, and we thought it was going to be a slice, but we ended up ordering like it was a whole pizza. And then Dee was like, I thought this was just a slice. And the guy was like, y'all are big boys. Y'all need it. And then walked away.
Yeah. We were like, he's not wrong.
Yeah. I did eat the whole pizza.
And so that was DEFCON.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's nothing really exciting, like, announcement-wise coming out of DEFCON, right? They're still working on through scaling. We're now calling F 2.0 back to Serenity, which was the original plan to call it Serenity. Proof of stake is going to be interesting transition. Like apparently you're like burning ETH to create these proof of stake ETH on a new proof of stake chain. So it's going to be a transition from proof of work to proof of stake.
Yeah. It's like a gradual transition from the legacy chain to the F 2.0 or Serenity chain, which is a mixture of change.
Some good conversations. I don't know, like I feel like you can never put a cap on the Ether if you do that, because not everybody's going to swing over at the not everybody's going to swing over either. Like Bitcoin's having this problem. It's been a year now and there's only 51% SegWit adoption. And that's with BTC, not with that Bcash debacle. So like with Ether, like not everybody's going to hear about it, and they're just going to be using that proof of work chain. Meanwhile, the hash rate's dropping and they don't even know, and it's gonna be interesting. I think it'll be, but everything this industry does is interesting. So
yeah, man. Every time I look at Reddit, it's like there's so many things that I need to read, and so like almost like landmark announcements.
Excuse me.
Like this country is playing with voting, or like we have the new thing in production now, like this scaling solution in production. Go test it out, or there's too much to hold on to. Like I literally can't follow even a fraction of what's going on anymore.
Yeah, it's really tough to keep up with. People are also doing their own DevCon recaps. Like Coinbase's blog has a DevCon recap now. It's weird.
Yeah,
things are. What'd you say, Joe?
They jacked our idea. We were the first to do DevCon recaps.
We just do them real late.
I'm pretty sure we were not, but we definitely bring our own flavor to it.
Crypt Zero, Omar Bam he's doing it live. Like I think he has the getting information to the listeners as fast as possible with quality, like done the best. He's doing it the best, I think.
Yeah,
he was in the front row of the session I moderated. It was like from like 1 to 4 or something like that in a room. He was just sitting in the front row with a camera set up, streaming everything, like commenting, and then he would go around and then like do the Omar Bam thing. But like no one else is doing that. You'd think there'd be more people.
It's a lot of work to not get paid unless the company's behind
Coinbase,
you.
Omar's getting paid somehow. He can't travel that much and not get paid.
Yeah.
Oh no, they don't have a podcast. They do interviews on their Coinbase blog called Coinbase Conversation. The first one was for Esther Farrow. Interesting.
Are you for real?
Like 3 years ago. Keep up, Coinbase.
Yeah. Things are changing. To tell you how much things are changing, I don't know when the last time you guys opened your Coinbase app is, but it is awkward seeing 8 digital assets in there.
I did that yesterday.
As I like to call them, dassets. And you open that bitch up and you're like, whoa, this is cool. It's really colorful.
Can we talk about that though? How come basic attention token did not result in the Coinbase effect? It actually went down when it got added.
I think the like irrational exuberance is over. Like I don't think we're gonna hit another. I don't know. Maybe it's hard. I don't think. How would I say this? I'm back and forth, but I don't think it's going to be as crazy as last time once we go up again. Like, it's not going to be this, like, oh my God, it's happening. Yeah. I'm rich now out of nowhere.
I think it will. It's just going to take a long time. A lot longer than it took last time.
Well, I mean, if we go by patterns, though, isn't each bull run more massive than the last? We think that's over?
It's not more massive than the last. It's on average 1,400%.
It looks that way because the numbers grow, like the way the percentages work. Like the percentages are always the same, but since it's steady increase,
right?
Percentage change of a large number is much more. It's a much larger number.
Yeah. If it went from like $18 to $300, that's a good jump. But if the all-time high is 19,000, it would have to go to like 150,000.
150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's going to happen in Bitcoin. I mean, it really depends on whether or not the Lightning Network can deliver what it's been trying to deliver for a long time, or if they can then put in more like base layer improvements, like Schnorr signatures and things like that. Otherwise, I don't see it doing anything.
Well, the demand is higher now than it was right before it jumped up in 2017. And there's new tech too. So batching transactions, that's pretty much going to be ubiquitous by 2020? The batching BECH32 protocol where you can batch the outputs together.
There's less Bitcoin to go around?
There's less Bitcoin to go around. There's like 17 million now. So if you take into account how many Bitcoin are lost, then we're approaching the cap like next year. Like there's only that many that's ever going to be in circulation. So there's a lot of factors that play into it. And
I need to get back on I've spent too much time in Ethereum. I need to learn more, do more like Bitcoin development and stay on track of what's going on there. Because I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on, but no one's really covering it. And I don't really trust the mouthpieces that are talking, or like that are the loudest in crypto Twitter.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a trustable guy. I kind of try to keep up with Bitcoin because I respect my elders. There's a lot of Lightning development happening, but it's still not user friendly, like at all. Like 2 people can't fund the channel yet, and which is really sad, right? Because 2 people should be able to fund the channel, but they can't. Let's see, Casa is doing big things because they're making it really easy to spark up Lightning nodes, which I love because I'd start the Geek Squad of fucking crypto tomorrow and just go to merchants and say, you see this little box right here? This is going to make it so you don't have to pay Visa 3% a month.
Grid Plus released their Lattice 1 agent finally, which is basically an HSM for a person, like a security module, like a personal security module, hardware security module for the individual that like sits at your house and becomes like the arbiter of dealing with crypto transactions. And then you can set permissions on various applications on how much they can withdraw from what account based on a certain set of rules. And so like that they released that, which has a lot to, I think that can take off. Like I think in my opinion, that's more important than the actual energy play that GridPlace is doing, because it bootstraps getting people to have full nodes of various kinds, or actually do key management properly while it's still being usable and not like incredibly cumbersome.
But if people are signing up for electricity, do they want another device in their house?
Well, it says automatic payment thing, but then if it does a lot more, then it's worth it, in my opinion. Like electricity is just like the way to like, oh, you're using us, well then we're going to ship you this thing that you need to interact with in order to automatically pay your energy bill in exchange for things and possibly make money off the energy you produce. It's like if you get like solar or like a wind generator on your land, that comes with a lot of other stuff that's required to make that thing operate and store the energy and exchange the energy with your local energy provider or the grid. So it's no different with Grid Plus. It's like you need this thing in order to negotiate energy prices and swapping out the credits. But if it does a lot more for like managing your crypto and running services to potentially passively make money, then that's a big deal.
It'd be cool if it were a gas station.
It can be. It can be a gas relayer. I mean, that's just smart contract stuff.
Does crypto still need gas stations? That was kind of a big deal last year at DEFCON, but I didn't see it take off this year. Like, even I was pumped. I was like, Corey, man, as soon as we hit back in the States, we need a TBP gas station. And everybody needs to see that on the Ethereum network that we're providing gas to everybody. And we're going to make some fucking money.
There's a few implementations. There's a few implementations where you can use gas relayers, and meta transactions and universal logins help with a lot of that stuff. So like people can just get crypto and not have to worry about having Ether in their account to use it.
I think if anybody's using that Lattice grid, they should come on the show. Tell us your experience.
Well, the Carl's coming on, hashing it out soon-ish this month to talk about the grid and what it's used for.
Flourish?
No, not Carl Flourish. Different Carl. He's the founder of Grid Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to hear that one.
Should get Walter.
Hashing it out is getting some praise, man. That celebrity moment at dinner was kind of cute.
Oh, that was weird. That happened. Guy walked up. It's like, hey, man, I know you're, is this, y'all too big to talk to a fan? I was like, fuck no.
We have our own table. Get out of here.
Yeah,
they made this table for us.
Back for us. Get your ass back to your table.
I thought that lady went to go look to see if there was like somebody getting up, and then we just see her like pushing a table into a corner by herself.
Well, so the manager came over and said, do you know who they are? Do you know who they are? Get them a table immediately or you're fired.
I bet.
We wish.
That had to be what happened.
Yeah, by the way, guys, when you go to Prague, your eating experience different every time.
Yep.
There's no standards.
They will just say, like, if all the tables are filled up, they'll just say we're full. And there's like, is there a waiting time? They're like, no, we're full. Go away.
Yeah.
They're like, is somebody going to leave soon? Like, we don't know. We're full. Go away. And we're like,
we were like,
okay.
Well, we don't want to do that. We're going to throw some America at you and say, we're just going to stay here until somebody leaves. And they were like, let me go see if there's a table. And we were like, cool. They're going to go see if there's a wait time. And next thing we know, they're literally bringing a table out and putting it in an empty spot. It's like
a high traffic area too. It wasn't like a like this part of the room that no one was using. It was like where they were walking back and to and from a different room.
Yeah.
We could have easily had something spilled on us.
Daddy, get some more.
My bad.
Oh my God, is that Ophelia? Was that Ophelia?
They say yes.
Yeah.
Dang, her voice is getting deep. Dang, she's growing fast. We're getting old, guys.
We should transition into the interview.
Yeah, so here I am on the couch. I'm watching Shark Tank, and in walks Dmitri Love, and he mentions cryptocurrency. And I was like, I'm going to get him on the show. And I did. You're welcome. So I asked him a bunch of questions on what it is like to be in the tank. He actually got a deal for Mr. Wonderful, and he is taking crypto into the mainstream 250,000% at a time. And you'll know what I mean when you hear the interview. So, what do you, D, you were there with me? Anything to add?
With a name like Dmitri Love, are you surprised that he's reaching success? I mean, come on.
His parents knew what was going on.
Yep. So, without further ado, here it is.
All right. Hey. Special guest of the week, Dmitri Love. Of course, here I am watching Shark Tank, and I hear the words crypto, and my eyes pop out of my head. So I had to invite Dmitri on the show. His project is Bundil, which allows you to invest your spare change into crypto and other assets. Basically, it allows you to invest intelligently, and you can check it out at enjoybundle.com. Dmitri, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, give us a little, background on yourself and how you find yourself at the intersection of crypto and kind of building this app. I think it was like the same thing we all experience, when we're in the space. Your mom's like, how do I get in the space? And you're like, well, okay, what's the easiest way I can do this? So I'm kind of thinking that's kind of what lends itself.
Oh yeah, yeah. So obviously, you guys know from the show, I was a software engineer. I had gotten into cryptocurrency. I was a pretty avid investor and futures trader. That kind of runs in the family a little bit. So I was already in the investing scene. Kind of got into crypto, fell in love with it, fell in love with the technology, obviously, because I was a developer. And once it started getting big, I had, a ton of family members come up to me like, hey, you know what's up with this Bitcoin stuff? And I'm like, yeah, what you want to know? And they're asking me like how to buy it. And, I thought it was pretty intuitive, because there's many exchanges out there to go buy it. But, the mass people don't really understand exchanges and how they work and what to do. So I thought of Bundil. So you can invest your spare change from debit and credit card purchases into cryptocurrency without even thinking about it.
Well,
yeah, it's definitely
what's crazy is like this app, it's not a new idea. Like me and D, we've been in this space for years, so we've seen iterations of this app over the years. But what I like about you, though, is when you appeared on Shark Tank, you said that your app was only like 2 months old. So you went at this like rocket launch speed. You got a shark to invest, but you're moving at a pace much faster than your competitors. Was that always like your intention?
Oh yeah. I mean, we definitely saw some competitors out there. Honestly, I thought I could do it a ton better. I wanted to provide a beautiful UI. I wanted to, focus on the user. A lot of people were kind of focusing more on the crypto gurus and the veteran crypto investors, which is fine. But I wanted to reach the masses. I want to reach someone, out in the sticks that knows about Bitcoin but doesn't know anything else and has no idea what to do. I want them to be able to sign up, link up their bank account and be able to invest in Bitcoin passively and safely.
Were you nervous talking to the sharks? Are they nerve-wracking when they're staring at you?
Yes and no. I was very aware. As you guys saw on the show, I had a little bit of trouble with my pitch. And that was more due to I had very limited time with the preparation for that pitch. Shark Tank actually reached out to me. I didn't actually apply to them.
Oh, really? They do that now?
They do. Yeah, for people that they really want on the show, they'll hit you up and be like, hey, want to be on Shark Tank? And obviously I said yes, because who would not say yes to that?
Yeah, they showed you like fumbling the pitch, but I just thought it was like special editing to make it seem that way. I've been told that some pitches take hours and then they whittle it down like 6 minutes.
Yep. Mine was an hour and a half. That was the first 30 seconds. After that, I had finished my pitch perfectly and I crushed the rest of the interaction.
But of course, they focus on that, of course.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it's good TV. I'm glad they did it because obviously, I still came out on top. I got a deal.
Hell yeah.
Because I messed up, doesn't mean that I suck or anything. So,
how's it been like? Are you even allowed to say like what it's like working with a shark? Is it fun? Are you in a boot camp? Are you in like a factory of people that work with sharks and there's like a line to out the door to talk to the shark? I mean,
I can't say too much on that front. What I can say is that communicating with Kevin's team is very pleasant. They're really nice. They're very, very smart. And they make everything really easy.
Does he call you Mr. Wonderful?
Well, is it more like interaction with Mr. Wonderful, or is it more like his team and he's just like overseeing?
Not so much. I mean, obviously, Mr. Wonderful is kind of, A-list celebrity. He's on TV all the time. He's ridiculously busy and also has like, hundreds of portfolio companies. So he's pretty torn in many different directions. So I mainly talk to, he has a very, very solid team that's based in Toronto that, we mainly communicate with.
Nice. So what is it specifically about crypto that made you kind of fall into it? Outside of just having a natural affinity to code, obviously you're a developer, but I mean, there has to be something, or maybe it was because I like to think that crypto has like 3 aspects to it. There's this currency aspect that's very elusive, and really nowhere near fulfilling. there's the investment aspect, which I think it knocks out of the ballpark. And then there's obviously the technology and what it could do for people. You know, and it's kind of far from those promises right now. But which do you identify it through one of those lanes, or were you just keen to it for other reasons?
You know, the technology itself, the blockchain has always interested me. I knew that's kind of a difficult question, because I want to say it's a little bit of other lanes, because I knew its potential a lot earlier than some people did. Obviously there's like, you know, the gurus out there. Andreas, you know, he's been in the game forever, and he knows what's up. But, you know, I knew that it was going to emulate the .com boom. And I knew that people were going to start doing incredible things with the technology. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to build something, you know, and be on the forefront of that kind of breakthrough in, you know, technology, decentralization, as they put it.
When did you get in? What year?
I bought my first Bitcoin actually in 2016, so not too long ago. I wasn't a, you know, super early adopter. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm actually pretty young. I'm only 24.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
You're still early, man. Don't worry.
Yeah. So yeah, and you know, I wasn't too heavy into, you know, buying and holding, or kind of just like collecting as much as I could. You know, I dabbled with the trading aspect of it. I really wanted to figure out a good trading technique with the volatility of, you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the main coins, which is very difficult, by the way. But once I kind of got more into the technology, I realized, like, you know, the currencies, you know, Bitcoin itself, that's not where it is. The technology is where it is. And that's really what's going to propel, you know, cryptocurrency into the future.
Do you wish that the currency and the technology would decouple? Or do you feel like, so you're in that camp where it would probably be better to separate?
Not going to happen.
I do. I mean, so I see both sides. You know, cryptocurrency, it's hard because I don't necessarily like that people only view it as like something of monetary value. You know, trying to explain it to people, trying to explain it to the sharks. It's very difficult to explain the underlying technology, you know, where the value in this random thing that everybody says has value is, without, you know, defaming that it's a currency. And yeah, people say like, yeah, you can't really spend it anywhere. And I'm like, well, to me, that's not necessarily the point. The point is, you know, it's not controlled by anybody. And I'm a big fan of that decentralization aspect. I'm a big fan of the blockchain itself. So I would love to see them be decoupled. Obviously, whether that's going to happen is probably, you know, up to the masses, I guess. But, you know.
I don't know. D, like, give your thoughts on that. Because I remember when we first started, we thought merchant adoption was going to be the way to mass adoption. And obviously, that narrative has changed.
That narrative hasn't changed. That narrative is the same. It's just merchants are lazy by default. They're not lazy. I'm not calling them lazy people. I'm saying they do so much to run a business already. Why are they going to add more friction into their business operation? Learning a whole new currency, learning how to handle the taxes, how to account for it. Do I treat it as a currency in my books, or do I treat it as an asset in my books? Those are two different accounting practices. You can't treat them the same. And so that's why merchants aren't adopting, because merchants aren't going to move until it's like frictionless. Like it's Teflon Don. They can accept it and then their life is still easy. Hell, we just experienced that in Prague. That's why people didn't want to take our damn credit cards everywhere. They were like, cash, please. Yeah. Put that cash in my hand. And I was like, look, man, I'm from the States. You know, take this credit card.
They didn't speak English, but they knew how to say cash, please.
Yeah. And so that's why merchants don't want to adopt, because the incentives are there. It's just too difficult. Like you can get one of those Casa nodes. You can have a Lightning node and a Bitcoin wallet ready to go, accepting sub-Satoshi payments with your clients overnight. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that instead of pay the 3% to Visa? Well, they're willing to pay the 3% to Visa, or however much it is, because it's just easier. It's like a convenience fee. And so
And
Right.
I think in order to push that front, I think some of these, bigger merchant players such as Square could really help out on that front. If they kind of integrated, cryptocurrency payments, sub-Satoshi payments into their systems, there's millions and millions of businesses that use Square itself. So some of these companies that are kind of jumping on board with, blockchain, cryptocurrency, whatever, I think will definitely help on that front.
Absolutely. Somebody's going to figure out the magic equation. There's going to be a way to account for it. There's going to be a way to handle it and still satisfy your obligations to whatever government you live under. It's just kind of early. But I am in the opposite camp to where I think if you separate the token from the tech, then you're just going to have more powerful Googles and more powerful Facebooks and more powerful Amazons, and there's no decentralization. There's just a few companies with great tech, with this great blockchain tech, and they operate it well, and they make it easy for their customers. But now their customers are even in a stronger web of, well, we all know what Facebook and Google do, so there's no need to go down that path. But
let's expand on that a little bit. Mr. Wonderful seems like the logical choice to give you an investment, since I see interviews about him talking about smart contracts and blockchain technology. But since the show is aired, what kind of guidance are you giving? There's two roads that you can go. Hey, I know how to make this app successful, because me and Dee, we talk about it all the time, like an app or a social media platform has like a 3.5 year lifespan. Or are they saying, hey, I get this space, you should do this and that? Are you trying to make a successful app, or are you trying to be like this kingpin in the crypto space? What avenue are you going down?
Both, honestly. So in order to achieve, I'm the first, cryptocurrency company that has gotten into homes, that has gotten, I guess, quote unquote, nationally recognized. A lot of crypto companies can't advertise. A lot of crypto companies can't get out there. And I'm this, small little company that got out there, and I want to make sure that, I do it correctly. I want to make sure that, we push the space in the direction that it needs to go. I want to make sure we build a beautiful and well-working application for our users, and make sure that people that don't understand the things that we do feel safe and comfortable to invest in cryptocurrency. Because, people unlike us, they think that cryptocurrency is too volatile. They think it's, kind of like a gamble. They think it's gambling to invest, to buy, to use, to look at it. And we want to change that. We want to make sure that everyone can, invest in it.
yeah, I think it's great what you're doing. I think you have a lot of competition just from people building this style of app, but you also are legs ahead of them, because you just got Mr. Wonderful to shake your hand on live TV. So I think that is it to take it back earlier in the conversation, you said your family got excited. Don't you think it's funny, at least I do, that my family members and friends don't care until it's way after the time they should have been buying?
I know.
Right when the all-time high is when your middle school friend hits you up after 10 years. Hey, man.
Yeah, her Bitcoin's 20,000. Should I just sell all of my life and then buy it now? It's like, no, man. I've been talking about this for 4 or 5 years. Like, what do you?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's how the .com boom happened. That's why some of those major companies died, because they're like, we don't need a website. What are we going to do with a website? We need stores. And, that's why JCPenney, Sears, Toys R Us, they died because they didn't jump on the train.
Yeah. So you use that example to realize that UI and UX is important, like to give this platform a seamless look, a seamless navigational experience, so like your grandma can use it.
Yes, and I mentioned on the show that we released an MVP. We tried to make the user experience as best as we possibly could, and we've gotten ripped apart a little bit. People are telling us what we should change, what we should add. And I love that. I want them to tear it apart as much as they can so that I can provide a perfect product. That's how Instagram, that's how Facebook, that's how all of these big, mandates in the space created something beautiful and perfect by getting broken down and adding what the users wanted.
That's good. And then since you're a child of the internet like us, except for a little bit older children of the internet, but getting ravaged online and feedback from online is like second nature to us. So I'm sure you don't even blink an eye. You're like, okay, whatever. You think my app's a piece of shit? What are you really trying to say? Let me take a look at it.
Oh yeah. I mean, people definitely roast a little bit, but I mean, it's good. We can't grow if, everyone's like, hey, you're doing great. Don't change anything. And, I know that's not true. I'm like, I could be doing something better. Please tell me.
Well, I've been a UI designer my whole damn professional life, and it's, in this space like that, it's a seriously lacking department, whether it's an app or a whole damn company. So, I mean, you're one of the very few that are actually putting importance on that. So my hat's off to you. It's always nice seeing beautiful UI in the space.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to expand on, one of the main issues that I encountered while building Bundil was, some of our competitors, some of our, some people that aren't even our competitors that are just, building applications in the crypto space. It was too complicated. Like it seemed like it was made for developers. But they were targeting, everyday users to try and get it out to the masses. And I was like, why? You need to make this easier. Like, this is too complicated. Like, if my mom can't sign up for the app or the application or whatever you're doing without blinking an eye, then it's, not good enough.
Yeah. Do you, so right now, does the app do more than just Bitcoin and Ether? Like, okay, so better question. What cryptocurrencies can someone invest in with your app currently?
Currently, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin.
Okay, so the majors.
Yep, the majors. And we're going to be expanding quite a bit in upcoming months. We are going to be offering some things that will definitely cater more towards people that are interested in crypto but haven't gotten in the space yet. As much as we love our crypto community, a lot of them are focused on altcoins. A lot of them are kind of focused more on technology. And we want to focus, like I mentioned like 5 billion times already, we want to focus on the people that don't know anything. And we want to add features that kind of cater to them, because the more people we get in, the better the space grows.
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you go ahead, Joe?
Well, I wanted to talk about the Shark Attack effect, because we're in this mass adoption. I mean, that's why we started this show. If I go on Shark Tank and I got like this magical hairbrush, even if I don't get a deal, I'm pretty sure tomorrow I'm going to wake up and my sales are like times 500. What was your Shark Attack effect like? Because it's like, if I'm watching the show and I still don't know anything about crypto, I can't necessarily sign up and use your app unless I'm like in the space. You know what I mean? Like, did you experience a surge, or maybe you got a bunch of emails, people asking you about crypto? Because I'm sure like you helped at least a few hundred people like get into the space overnight.
So business grew 250,000%.
Bam. Love
over
it.
the course of 1 week. Yeah.
Oh my God, I got to get on Shark Tank. I put a handle on a bowl. And then I'm gonna
Which is incredible. I mean, the press alone, like when I mentioned that we're the first nationally recognized crypto company, I wasn't playing. I mean, we were in CNBC, Forbes. We had an article on Bitcoin.com. I mean, people were just blasting it out everywhere. Like, hey, like this crypto company got an investment. What's going on here? So that was a lot more powerful than the show. Obviously, I think we had like 3.9 million people watch the show that night. But I think, I think most of our growth came from the press, because a lot of people elaborated on what happened. A lot of people elaborated on what this could do for the space. Obviously, I've had great support from the crypto community, and a lot of people are like, "Hey, like I can get Bitcoin with this. Like, how does this work?" Why does this benefit me to micro invest? And obviously we love answering those questions, but it's just been good. It's been quick, a little too quick. I've been kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I'm speaking in New York and Quebec this week, flying out tomorrow actually. So it's just been ridiculous.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is the business growing too? You bringing on more? Is it just you? I mean, I'm pretty sure you got a team, right?
Yeah, the business is definitely growing. So right now we have a team of about 5. So I have a co-founder. He's our operations officer, helps run more of the business than I do probably. We have a CTO, we have a marketing officer, and then we have a couple designers and a couple developers. So right now we've been staffing up. So if any of you guys out there want a job, send me an email.
Shoot, man.
There you go.
I'll send you an email. Shoot.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've been growing. We're trying to keep it to where we don't have too many growing pains. It's kind of difficult with Shark Tank because everything's going, 0 to 1,000 in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been really good. Lots of growth, lots of breakage. Obviously, that type of stress on the system. I did my best to prepare for it, and we handle it that night. But there's definitely been some, fires that we've been putting out the past 2 weeks.
Can I ask you a difficult question?
Yes, of course.
Any regrets giving up 50%?
Oh, regret is a strong word.
Because you didn't know you were going to get 250,000% increase the next day. Because in that moment, you got to take a deep breath, because the future is uncertain.
What's interesting about that interaction, they didn't actually show the full interaction. So I'll give you guys a sneak peek because there's already an article about it, so I'm not telling you guys anything illegal. So I actually tried to fight with Kevin a little bit. So he offered that 50%, and I was like, that's kind of high. And I started saying, "Would you take?" I said those 3 words, and he started shaking his head no. Like, he was like, "Nah, dude." And then my co-founder was on the phone, ready to, for me to call him to discuss anything with him, as they do sometimes on the show. And I asked, I was like, "Hey, can I go speak to my co-founder?" And he said no. He was like, "You're the CEO. I want you to make this decision." And Mark was like, "It's a good deal, man. I'd take it." And
Jeez, man.
yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
I
just thought it'd be really funny. You look over, Mark Cuban's like, "Go for it, man."
Yeah, it was savage, but I thought about it. I weighed the pros and cons really quickly. I knew a little bit about his track record, and I knew that for my goal for starting Bundil, I knew that it was a great move. I knew that to propel it to where we want it to go, we got to get someone backing it that has a good name in the finance industry, and there's no better name than Kevin O'Leary.
For sure.
So obviously I would have loved to give up less than 50%, but it is what it is.
I got a question. What about the people? So I like your audience targeting people that have never heard of crypto, because at this point that's pretty much an endless well. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that never heard of it. But what about that huge group of people that have heard of it, have been hearing about it for years, but they're kind of numb? They don't want to hear about it anymore. They don't care. They don't want to invest in it. Maybe they think they don't want to invest in it because it just seems every time they try to jump into it, they just get lost in the sauce. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to exchange. Like, are you even worried about getting that group of people to say like, oh, let me try out this Bundil app? Like, it looks like it's easy. Like,
of course, that's where most of the roasting comes from in regards to the app. A lot of veteran crypto users have certain feelings about the way we do things, which is fine. Like, I want their opinions. I want to make it better for everyone. We have some features coming down the pipeline that cater specifically towards people that have been in the game for a long time, that know what a private key is and a public key is, that know what cold storage is, that know what a hardware wallet is. People that know what to do and what to do in the space. We want to make them feel welcome as well. It's going to be more difficult, I must say, because we can't appease both sides. And as much as I want to say that I will bring those people in, I think right now with the space and how it's kind of, shifting and moving right now, I think going after new people as the primary target is a better option. That sounds kind of crazy. It sounds like I'm abandoning my kids, but we definitely have support for them out there in the future. We're adding some pretty awesome new features in coming weeks.
Cool.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I just wanted to disclose this, like, we're not CNBC, we're not trying to poach off hot news, whatever. Like, we started the show because we're entrepreneurs ourselves, and we're a pretty big media platform. We got like over 2 million downloads and all that, but we appreciate entrepreneurs. We appreciate your spirit. We wish you, the best luck, the best success. And if there's anything our media platform can do to boost you at any point, man, just reach out and let us know. Dude,
for sure. I appreciate that.
Did Jet Magazine reach out to you yet?
Jet? No, not yet. Send them. If you know anybody, send them an email.
That's when Grandma knows it's big.
Yeah,
it's a big deal. I've told my grandma what I do, and she's like, "I don't care. I don't care at all. I just want to know if you've read your Bible in the last week." And I'm like, well, I'm gonna get in Jet Magazine for you, Grandma. Anyways, we have a trademark question we ask all of our guests. Okay. And that is, in 10 words or less, can you describe Bitcoin?
Yes, I can. Is there this long of a pause?
I'm going to give you that Family Feud X if you take any longer.
Okay. I would say Bitcoin is like a digital stock that can be broken up into chunks.
A beautiful answer. We'll take that.
All right. That's 8 words, too. Congratulations. You've won, really nothing. We don't give out prizes, but we will give you a check sign, I guess.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much, Dmitri. Amazing name.
I appreciate it.
For coming to the show. And like Cello said, we'd love to help get the word out even more than a Mr. Wonderful handshake, which is impossible because 3.9 viewers in one night is amazing. So, but congratulations on all the success so far. We wish you the best.
I appreciate it, man.
And we're back from the interview with Dmitri Love. He is the CEO of Bundil. It is an app that is like Lawnmower. There's lots of apps like that now, but if you can't get enough of telling people that don't need to hear about crypto, and they want to own it, then they need an app like that.
Or if they don't know if they want to own it.
Yeah,
it's more like that. It's like they're like, I don't know if I want to own it. It's like, what if we just rounded up your dollars?
I would say out of all the apps, use that one though, because it has backing of a shark. Like it has the strongest infrastructure and the strongest team behind it.
In terms of like building a business and a good business model, and not sucking, not having a good idea without a good business behind it.
Yeah, he's got a team behind him now.
Got my team on my back.
I love, though, what I do love, and Dmitri, I hope you're listening to this, and I hope that by the time it comes back around, you can prove me wrong. But when you ever ask someone, like, what are their future plans? And nobody's ever just like, oh, just to keep making my app really, really good at the thing that it does. And he was like, oh, we're going to be doing so many things. And I'm just thinking, like, what can you do? What all can you do if you're just rounding people's like transactions up to the dollar? Like, what are you gonna?
Man, there's a lot of things you can do to make that experience better for like tracking things. I remember the lawnmower guys had a lot of stuff in terms of like analytics.
Yeah, that's true. You can do that.
There's a lot of stuff you could do there, as well as like
But
provide news or whatever. Like it could just be your app for the source of getting information, as well as passively investing in things. There's things you can do, but I mean, I like what you said. Just make sure your core focus, you're doing that really well, and you're getting it to the people who need to be getting it.
Yeah.
Don't.
But
It's really easy.
The next step, though, is once people accumulate all this crypto from like the 3 cents left over from their coffee and whatever, then they need to figure out what they're going to do with it. And these apps don't tell you what to do with it.
Well, that could be part of the app. This is how we do it. We integrate with other things that like help you spend that money.
Yeah, like what if it was, coupled with like E-Trade, and you could take some of that crypto and buy stock or something with it, and then from the stock you could sell it to your bank account.
Yeah. I wanted to. Yeah, I mean those are always good options. I mean, maybe that's because some of the stuff they're gonna do, but I know I'm excited to see it, and I just wish one day somebody would say like, yeah, we're not gonna do any of those other things. We're just gonna like do what we do really, really well. And like I hate how companies have like the newer startup companies and tech companies and stuff. It's all about like let's iterate, reiterate, and redo, and make
Scope
it new,
creep.
make that like. Make this thing, you see how that's blue? We're going to make it dark purple now. People are going to lose their shit. And it's like, man, and then you go down to like a shop and they're like, yeah, we've pretty much just fixed ceiling fans for 75 years. and people love how we fix their ceiling fans. Like they always work. They never creak.
You're describing the new Mac OS, because I got this really cool dark theme where everything used to be silver and now it's not. But everything else is broke.
And everything used to work, and now it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But everything looks really cool. Why it's broke.
I think Mojave bricked my laptop that I've had since 2013.
Yeah.
I'm literally in the process of backing it up so that I can start over, because Mojave sucks.
And
I sent a tweet out saying, hey, did Mojave break anybody else's computer? And like everybody DM'd me.
That's like your number one tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. My computer actually exploded. So, I mean, this is all I'm saying is that like we're kind of children of the information age, right? Like we were here before the internet, and we know how things were. We got a taste of that. I think maybe some of our older siblings really, really got a taste of it. They were like, "Man, He-Man, is this all we get?" Damn. But then we're used to things changing that we love. And we just relearn it. You know what I mean? Like our user story is like Facebook is so different than it was when it first started up 10, 12 years ago. But every time it changed, we were like, okay, this is my feed now. Let me just figure out how this thing works and go for it. But I think like these new philosophies need to go a little bit back to the old world and just like, hey, how about we just do one, like let's not change for the sake of changing. Maybe let's change security protocols so we always are ahead of the thieves. But like, do we need to make our customers learn something new every year? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe that's a tactic to get buy-in from your user base. But I feel like it's changing for the sake of changing, which is not necessary.
I think a lot of what happened with keep the continuous rechanging. Like, so let's take Facebook for example, and how they've continuously changed the way things worked and operated, and so on and so forth. Is that the channel in which you absorb the material kept changing. Like phones, it went from like using the computer to access Facebook more often than not to only doing it on your phone or like an iPad or something like that. So you had to really, really, really focus on people using it through that channel and optimizing for that thing, while also being usable on the other ones because they still want to offer that type of thing. And because phones have become so ubiquitous and so powerful, and in all different types of devices for accessing the same material, they've had to like revamp how you access these things that are natural and usable and like and don't suck.
Yeah, I get that. I can get that. But I don't know, Chell, you're the marketing guy. You have opinions on this. How do you feel? Do you feel like it's necessary in software development and releasing products, software products, that like you've got to keep changing it?
Yes. That's why Google Pixels are the best phones out there, because they are the only company that's consistently giving you software updates every 2 weeks.
Okay, now to that same argument, if you go to google.com and you look at that, it looks exactly the fucking same as it did back in 1999.
I mean, yeah. But that's not connected to the phone, you know?
Huh?
That's not connected
No,
to the
but
phone.
think about all the services they offer. Think about how like they've changed Gmail over and over and over again. They had Inbox. They're getting rid of Inbox. They've had all these different things. Like all of that stuff changed drastically, and like what types of things you could do with your Google account changed drastically. Just because the initial search engine didn't change, that's not where Google gets everything.
But the core, as I'm saying, like the core didn't.
The core of Google is not the search anymore.
Yeah, I know. Google's changed.
Yeah, I never. I didn't say they're the best. I'm just saying they're the only ones that are providing this level of support. I'm not a big fan of Google right now, personally, but
Google needs to have the old what's the quote from Batman Dark Knight? You either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. That is happening to Google in front of our eyes. Like so many people I run into now are like, "Fuck Google, motherfuck Google. I don't give a shit. Fuck their ads."
Who are you
Fuck
talking to?
We just interviewed a guy like not too long ago who was like, "Yeah, Google's pretty much evil. They sell all of your user information." And then he said the same thing about Facebook, and he deduced like because of Facebook's earnings, they make $50 a year per
He's not
Facebook
wrong.
user.
He's not wrong. That's their business model, selling user data.
But selling people as the products, and he was like, "Yeah, everybody's evil." And then so Facebook is becoming, Google, just a different version of Google with their algorithms that they run. So it's just like people are really upset at like the Fang and MAGA.
What are you talking about?
Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. People are upset with them because they're becoming these super data
I've never
silos.
heard that acronym before.
Oh, Jack Tater was really trying to make that work. Nobody took it.
Oh, okay.
No, that's like a big deal on Wall Street. They all know FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. And then MAGA's Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Amazon Web Services.
Yeah,
Because
but
those are
MAGA,
technically
you can't
two
say
different.
MAGA, though.
Yeah, you can't say MAGA because people think,
Make America great again.
Yeah, but on Wall Street, when you say MAGA, you mean Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and I think AWS, because Amazon's retail business is separate than its AWS business, but they're still both like behemoths. So,
Cool. Let's wrap it up.
yeah, this is the more you guys know.
That was not a lot of crypto this episode, but suck it.
I mean, is there much to talk about in crypto?
There's so much to talk about. So much cool shit.
Let's talk about one thing before we wrap it up.
I don't know.
We got Shark Tank insight. That's cool.
I'll talk about one thing. I don't think there's any correlation between price changes and hash rate. There's close to zero correlation.
We got a blog coming out for that too, and actually, Goon Sarir talked about that at DEFCON, and how basically the hash rate is not like it's worthless. And it's like it's a lot of wasted. It doesn't really increase the security as much as people think it does in terms of like validating transactions. Like all the stuff that needs to be done in terms of validation, it can be done by anyone, and it's just this race of a game. That is.
Well, yeah,
there's arguments there. There's a lot of arguments there. Trust me, I'm not agreeing with them, but he talked about that at DEFCON.
This is sometimes what I love to hate about academics, is that you will like go into the weeds about some shit that is like very understandable at a surface level. And I get why you do it, because of research and because humanity needs the depth. But everybody knows you can validate transactions without the mining Like Visa's been doing that shit for years. So like, what's the point of going in on that? Like, and I don't understand. Yeah, like I don't understand why you need to do a bunch of research to answer that very simple question. Like when it's currently existing, why do we need to? Why do we need to do that? And plus, it's part of the game. It's like, do you take out a board game like Trouble and then figure out all the loopholes in the rules? I mean, there's gonna be loopholes to the rules, but it's a game, so you either play the game or you don't.
Well, it's a proof of work works because that's the only thing we had that was different in terms of consensus. But if we can find something that works better, that doesn't use as much wasteless energy, then we should use that instead. That's all I'm saying. Like, it works because that's the only thing we know works. And there's a lot of experiments trying to find new ways of things that work better or as good, that aren't as wasteful as proof of work is. If we find that and it works, we should switch wholeheartedly to it. But it's going to be a while until we have the same confidence level of whether or not it works.
Do the people that are playing the previous game want to switch? You gotta take that.
Who gives a shit? I mean, like that's like saying it's like asking if the banks want us to have Bitcoin. Like, who gives a shit? Like, if it works better, we need to have it. If it helps people do the things they want to do and live the lives they want to live, we should do it. Not if a few very powerful people don't want it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tale as old as time, my friend.
Yeah.
The Tale of Two Cities or some shit like
Wrap
that.
it up.
Yeah. So that's it for today's episode. If you want a real DEFCON recap, there's like 30,000 of them on the internet. But you didn't miss much. Talked about scaling. Vitalik sang, and it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. Yeah.
Nerd.
Serenity now. Let's see here. So, yeah. So what do we do? TheBitcoinPodcast.com. Hope it's still there by the time that you get this. We have a lot of shows that you could check out. Man, Cello, like the Bullpen podcast is really taking off. Like, I'm not just saying that. Like, I looked at the data and it's really growing fast. So shout out to Lyndon. If you haven't been listening to the Crypto Bully, he's basically just a dude who got swept into crypto, and he's basically audio. He's interviewing people that you may not have heard of, but are extremely intelligent and popular in their own circles, and kind of tangential to the crypto space. But he's making it work. I will say this though, that Morgan Freeman lead-in is getting old, my friend. You might want to change that. It is not aging well. Plus, that guy is like doing the same Morgan Freeman voice for other content on the internet, and I've heard it, and it's creepy. Let's see what else we got. An Ether show, Dose of Ether. They just released a recap of what was that conference, Cello?
The Crypto Invest Summit.
Crypto Invest Summit
In LA.
In Los Angeles. Amy's got a show coming out with Ken Moyles soon. Ken Moyles is a dude who is smart.
Good one.
He was the CEO of he was the chief legal and policy officer.
What can I say to pass time as I figure out who this guy is?
Why you gotta put me on Front Street, man? He's the policy whatever director of DocuSign, which if you've never used DocuSign before, why don't you go back to the 20th century, you fucking noob? No, I'm kidding. DocuSign's awesome for signing documents electronically, private keys and such. What else? Corey, you've got hashing it out. Sometimes I forget about hashing it out, and I'm sorry about that.
What?
Sometimes when I'm explaining like all of the shows that we have, I forget about hashing it out.
I don't care. It's fine.
Which is no, you don't.
People know who I am. People see it.
People know.
The show is doing what I want.
Hey, Goon Sarir was on Hashing Out, and then Goon Sarir was on Laura Shin, and everyone blew a load. Like, go listen to Hashing Out. Listen to our stuff. Like, don't just automatically go to this arbitrary popular podcast We interviewed
Lauren
them
Shin
too.
does a really good job. She does a really good job. I mean, it's
She does a decent job.
It's different. It's a different show than mine.
That's very true.
But it doesn't warrant the popularity. Like, they're both great.
In terms of popularity, like the amount of people who want to go as deep as I'm going is much, much smaller than the audience she's going after.
Who doesn't want to go balls deep?
A lot of people.
You and Colin need to remake those shirts that you had in college, but put your emblem on
the balls deep shirts,
the balls deep hand signal. I thought that was so funny.
That was funny.
Yeah,
incredibly inappropriate. But
hey, this is welcome to Hashing Out, where we go balls deep. Technical deep dive.
Yeah, that would be
the new intro.
Way.
Is that my new intro?
That should be your intro though.
With
like I don't know if you guys follow
noise
Barstool Sports at all. Do you follow this Barstool Sports guy?
No.
He like travels around the world eating slices of pizza and grading them on a scale of 0.0 to 10.0. And it's just so funny. And he says these things that stick with you. Like he'll come walking out of a pizza joint and he's like, "Hey guys, you know the rules, 1 bite." And then he takes like 15 bites. And so it's like really funny. He's like, 1 bite, you know the rules. And then he eats a whole slice of pizza and he's like, I give it a 4.2. It's got room to grow. But you and Colin should be like, all right, hashing it out, or we go balls deep. Let's do it. Anyways,
all right, ex guests, you ready to go balls deep on whatever you're doing?
Yeah, especially if it's a woman, she's gonna be like,
Yeah, that's how you really garner attention.
Has a woman been on Hashing It Out?
Yeah. I think. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember half the guests we've had on the show, to be honest. I have to look
Corey
back.
Doesn't see gender. So
I interview you and then I forget it for the people.
So
it's been documented. Why would I need to remember it?
So you can keep tabs on the space, right? How do you progress in the space if you forget all the information?
If it makes you feel any better, I think about 99% of the people I've had on the show have been white males. So #diversity.
Yeah, but they're not named like Kevin. They're all named like Oric and Manoob or some weird name. Like they're
no women. I haven't had a woman.
They're all.
Oh, I have. Take that back. I had Manoush Movahedi from Definity. That was a great episode.
They're all plotting with the blessing of Thanos to take down the Avengers, like some Eastern European dude who.
I'm gonna edit the episode. We're going balls deep with Manoush.
I wonder if I'm gonna get some like pushback because I'm interviewing a bunch of white males and only a few minorities. Granted, it's
not intentional. So
of course it's not. No. Of course it's not intentional. But that social justice warriors don't give a shit about intentional.
Yeah.
Well, your last episode was a black dude.
Yeah, sure was.
People also don't like to come at us incorrect because of the small amount of fucks that we give. For when people do come at us incorrect, they're like, "Oh, I'm just wasting my time." And we're like, "Yeah, you're wasting your time." So, but anyways, we do lots of things. The Bitcoin podcast, medium.com/the Bitcoin podcast is our publication /blog. The hosts use it. Like DJ's released a blog on there. Lyndon from the Crypto Bully has. Corey, you've got your writings on there. I've got some of my.
I'm moving all my writing to Cent.
We'll do both.
Sorry,
because this is where our current publication is. We will have a podcast releasing on Cent that you guys can seed. Yeah, you'll learn all about that shit because I interviewed Max and Cam from Cent, and wow, that company's doing things. What else do we do?
Play the outro.
Yeah, just check us out, bitcoinpodcast.com. Play